Hi, I've now painted the inside of the lemans roof, and it didn't go exactly right the first time because the spray gun produced some dirt from somewhere, or the dirt came from somewhere, even though I'd airlined out all these holes. Everywhere was airlined out, tacked off, been around it 2 or 3 times, and it still produced some black specks of dirt. It wasn't just dust, it was bits of something in the paint. So I allowed that paint to dry off, and I actually had a run appear from underneath this edge. So I left the paint dry off, flatted out this run, nipped off all the dirt, and I've recoated it with another, I think that's 3 coats of white, and it went on totally different. I don't understand what was going on. And the spray gun, I completely stripped the spray gun and soaked it in a bath of thinners, washed it completely out. It came out like a new gun. There's a little bit of dirt there. That's a bit of fluff. That is. I don't know if you can see that little bit of fluff. A little bit of fluff. It's quite handy if you can see a little bit of fluff. But on this occasion, this type of fluff you don't want to see. There it is. That's a little bit of fluff. Wrong sort of fluff. Anyway, but it's a little bit dry in places. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to nib it off. I'm not going to wet it completely, remove all orange peel. There's a little bit of dirt there. And should nib it off, rub it over with some compound, a bit of polish, buff it up. And that'll be that. I'm not going to worry about it too much, but it's not entirely flat. You can see the you can see the curve. You know, you can see how ripply the paintwork is. But this is the raw fiberglass side, as opposed to this is the mould side, which comes out a lot smoother. This is quite bumpy, really. It's a bit bumpier than I thought it was. But it's very difficult to block it out in here to get it flat. You could get it better, but you'd be there forever. So, and that was after a lot of rubbing down and skimming it with filler, and that took a lot of work to get that far. So to get it any better, well, I'd still be here rubbing now. So I gave up, quite frankly. It was just taking too long, and the frame has been painted up now, so that's looking quite good. I had to paint one side and flick it over and paint the other, so I had to wait the next day. But that's looking good. So I'm not really going to do any work to that at all. It's looking quite smart. I might just bolt that straight in as it is. So there we go. That's as far as I've got with that so far. But I think that'll look all quite well once it's all put in the frame with all the screws, all the fittings. You've got this in, the roof panels in. This piece will be covered up, and you got the rear catch fitted here, and the windows put in, and the tailgate. It'll all mould in as one item, and you won't really. And when it's inside the car, there'll be less shine coming off all these sort of places where you can see ripples. But it doesn't look that bad. Put it this way. It's as good as it's bloody getting, I can tell you that now for a fact. So that's it. There's a little hole there. I've got to fill that. But this piece here will be rubbed down, keyed, because that's going to be blue, up to that edge there. And that'll be white. And I shall mask it off that way. As with this edge here, I shall mask it up. I just sort of reversed, I just left the tape overhang a little bit there, so it gave a softer edge. So that's why that tape's overhanging, just a fraction. Just gives us, it doesn't really matter if there is a bit of an edge there. I should just nib it off. But basically, that's another stage done. So that's good. And this is quite hard, this is hard enough to turn it over and rest on this surface now and paint the other side if you had to. It's gone off very well, this paint has, so I'm quite pleased with the results of that. As you can see, it's quite a good gloss to it. if I can get some over the gloss. And that's up in this, yeah, up in here. This was pretty rough in here, but it's come out quite nice. Yeah, another one there. It's quite shiny. Yeah, finishing bad. Quite happy with that now. Yeah, up along there. I don't know. Why is it you can see the shine yourself, but the camera can't? Yeah, the finish isn't looking bad there. Look. You know, it's quite a nice gun finish from a rubbish gun. But the spray gun, I actually stripped the spray gun completely down and soaked it in some thinners and cleaned it completely off because there was a lot of gunking around the trigger mechanism, and I wonder if some of that came off and went in the paint as I was pulling the trigger. So I completely stripped the gun, soaked it, it cleaned off, and it came up like a new gun. So that made that work. When I was spraying it, the air horns on the end of the gun kept building up with paint, so every time I put a coat on, I would take that air horn off, just clean it off, 2 minutes, wipe it off, put it back on, so I knew the next time I came in I was getting a good fan out of the spray gun. I only used a little panel gun, and my panel gun doesn't give a very big fan anyway, so I had to make sure I had a decent fan coming out of it, because the minute it clogged up the slightest amount of paint on the air horn on the end, it wouldn't create a fan. All it was doing was creating a straight pencil style jet, and it just didn't work very well. So it's not a very good panel gun, but little small touch-up gun. But yeah, that there is quite a nice smooth finish. You couldn't get in here with a big, well, you could do that with a big gun, but it was tricky. Little places in around here, these corners, I had to put a lot of dry coats on, light coats, otherwise it would part, the paint would part off these corners and it was showing through to the grey primer underneath. Maybe base coat and then a coat of clear would have been better. The base coat probably would have covered better, but that's it. That's how I've done it. So hopefully the rest will go well. This is the inside of the lift out roof panels, and I've just finished spraying them and they've come up very good. The finish on them, after cleaning out the little panel gun, it gave quite a good fan, so I think there must have been something blocking. Now that's gone on quite slick. That's 3 coats of white. It pretty much covered in 2, but I gave it a 3rd, and that had about a good 20 minutes between coats to really flash off, to become nearly tack free, and then I recoated again. And I think that's the trick. You must leave it to tack off fully, and don't jump in after 5 minutes. It's too quick. You've got to really let it flash off and really suck back, and that's the key. Walk away and leave it go. And I timed it about 15-20 minutes, and one time was a good half an hour between the second coat and the final 3rd coat, and it's gone on real slick. The only thing is I can't see is the shine when I'm spraying white, but basically spray it on, stand back, get the glare, look at it, and anywhere it looks a bit bare, flash a bit more over. But that's looking okay, so I'm not going to do no more. These have been standing about an hour now, and they're just tacky. You know, that there, I can feel it. It feels a bit, and you can hear it's just grippy. You know, it's just, you know, plasticky. So it's pretty much one little bit of dirt, but other than that, they're looking pretty good. So that's a bit more done again.